Join us each week for some booze-free banter about life without booze.
If you're entertaining the idea of cutting back your booze by a day, a week, a month, or for the rest of your life, we would love for you to tune in.
Buckle up and come along for a ride that may just change your life. Just a heads up, some of our conversations we have may be triggering for some. Reach out to your local resource support centre. If you're in Australia, that's Lifeline 131114.
Maso! Breeza!
Happy New Year!
Happy New Year!
2022.
Look out, here we come.
I know.
How'd you go kicking into the start of the 2022?
Yep, not bad. Had a good evening with friends, which is always good.
Yes.
I'm in holiday mode right now, so I'm full rancho relaxo.
I love rancho relaxo.
I have like tizzed up a little bit for our recording today, but yeah, fully just holiday mode. Loving it.
Good. That's so good. Happy New Year. Great to be here.
Thanks, mate. What about you? You've had a lot going on. Birthday, New Year's, which we can talk about in later podcasts, but how are you going?
Yeah. Well, it's so funny. Like with my birthday, it's the 28th of December, so just had a great time, but it's hard because I don't feel like a party between Christmas and New Year. And so like I can't be bothered with it, and it's really hard to expect anybody else. So by the time New Year's Eve rolls around, I'm done.
I reckon that week in between Christmas and New Year is like a nothing week. No one knows what day it is. No one knows what date it is or time it is.
Yeah.
It's a wasteland.
And then you all of a sudden got to scramble and come up with like, oh, got to get my shit together for 2022. Cut it loose. You mentioned that in the last pod actually about making New Year's resolutions. Just cut it loose. Just bite-sized pieces because your life changes throughout the year, so you got to keep moving the goalposts. Yeah,
100%. It can be an overrated event, can't it?
Yeah, totally. Ends up being a bit of a flop.
But I've actually linked my shame story in with New Year's Eve.
Oh, so good.
So let's kick off 2022. I was about to say 2020. No, that was 2 years ago.
2022. Let's go.
Let's do it.
You gotta have shame on your name. Shame on your name. Figure it out. Oh, they're gonna know. Figure it out.
All right. I'm a bit nervous about this one actually. We're talking about holidays, and I'm going to take you back to a Bali incident. We all went over for a wedding, and the wedding was great. Everything was all honky-dory. And then after the wedding, as you do, you kick off, end up in some nightclub in Kuta. The bride's brother has ADHD, and he had his ADHD medication, so Dexies. Yep. So we tucked into them, and they were so fun. I'm not doing that sober. Like if someone said, here you go, mate, have a Dexie, I'm not, no way.
No.
Anyway, right off, all of our crew wanted to go to another nightclub, so we hopped on the back of mopeds with the Balinese fellas, randomly, no helmet, just hooning around, Bali, having the best time ever, woohoo, loving it sick. I lost vision of the crew for a bit. I don't know where I am. I'm on the back of some moped, some random Balinese guy, just starting to panic. Remember your story from the other day about jumping on the sidecar?
Yep.
And you had that fleeting thought of, I could be in deep shit here. This isn't great. This is a really poor decision. Anyway, ended up at the nightclub and all ended up really, fair and good, had a great time. Lost my phone, spent the next day, sent friends off to try and find my phone. I was actually meant to fly back to go to work. I was so unwell, I had to go to the local Balinese medical centre to get an injection to stop myself spewing.
Mate.
We were meant to leave that hotel that, went check out, but it was, I tried to rebook because I was so crook. We ended up having to get another hotel down the road so I could just sleep it off and get over it. And it was just putrid. It was just, I look back at that and it could have been so much worse.
Yep. And your phone, losing your phone's the worst, mate.
Oh, mate, and you know what? I just had the discussion. This is when sort of iCloud just started to kick off. Now, I don't know about you. What is iCloud? Where's the cloud? Have you ever dived into the cloud? I'm paying all this extra money for the cloud and for storage because I've got photos. Like I'll tell you how many photos I've got or videos I've got in my library, but I will tell you that I lost all our photos from Mexico because I didn't back it up. I've got 50,000 photos and 222,000 videos in my cloud, but no Mexico photos. So, yeah, I was absolutely devastated. I think we can all put your hands up if you lost a phone and lost all your photos once. I think we all do it once.
Yeah.
Bali just seems to snap them up. Absolutely. It's just so it's a shocker, and I'm horrified.
And you wasted a whole day, like on your holiday, being rubbish.
Yeah, picture it
well.
because I chose to put poison in my body.
Yeah,
really risky in Bali on the back of a moped with random guys. Like, what are you doing? I'm not doing that sober, Breeza.
And how many times do you hear of accidents
that
happen over there? And people end up in hospital, they've got huge bills to pay and you miss work as well. Like, it's just a spiral of events.
Yeah. I'm not going to lie, though, because I was side saddling and it was because I had a beautiful dress on, like I'd just been to a wedding, and I was side saddling, and I won't lie, the high that I was on, it was a cool high just for that little period, just for a fleeting moment with the wind rushing through my hair in the middle of the night through some random streets of Bali. But yeah,
did you? Were you holding on to old mate around his stomach to hold on? Yeah.
I think I was one-handed, just woo-hoo, just holding onto his shoulder, just fearless, reckless is what I was. So yeah,
and I reckon a lot of our listeners are probably nodding, going, "Yep, been there, done that."
Yeah,
because you do associate Bali with Bintang. Is that Thailand? Is that Thailand? That's Bali, I think. Yeah,
Bali. Bali Bintang.
And just getting off your chops.
Yeah, right off. Yeah. Silly Billy.
Oh, silly Billy.
Mm.
But happy that you came out unscathed, mate.
Yeah, thank you, mate. Here to tell the tale when many have not.
Yep. Well, thank you for sharing, mate. Mine is it's a New Year's Eve one, actually. Pulled out a New Year's Eve one. And I'm sure we've all got shame stories on New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
It would have been, I reckon, 5 or 6 years ago because my youngest was 1 at the time, and it was the second New Year's Eve I'd had without a partner. So the first one I had without a partner, I was with lots of friends, so it was busy and it was fun. But this one I was down at the beach with my folks and the kids, and some friends were coming down. And they were actually renting a house not far from where I was staying. And so I was like, great, let's all hang out for New Year's Eve. They're like, yep, awesome. So I teed mum and dad up to look after the kids, so put them to bed. And so this was about 9:30. I tootled on down to where my friends were staying, and they were staying at a friend's house. They'd rented a friend's house. So already in my head I'm like, got to catch up, 9:30, I need to power drink. Right?
Make up for it.
Yeah. And the other thing that I know was in my head is the thought of when, the big hand hit 12 and everyone, hugs each other. I was hanging out with 2 couples.
Yeah.
So in my head I'm going, what am I going to do at midnight? The 2 couples are going to be like, pashing and going, Happy New Year, and I'll be standing there going, whoo. So I think in my, and you know what, no one else would have thought anything of it, but I was sort of doing my wig in about it. So that would have been another trigger for me to get as hosed as possible. Okay, so you already know the storm is brewing already.
Yes.
Just from thoughts in my head, mate.
Mm-hmm. I feel you. I've been there before. Yes. That 12 o'clock midnight is just a torturous thing as it creeps on in. Yes. Because everyone has to kiss and you're just standing there like Nigel no friends.
Yes. So I was a girl on a mission, and I bought a new onesie, and I was feeling all up and about. So I just got completely off my chops.
Yeah.
And I blacked out. I reckon it was 12:01. I was probably thinking, show's over now. I can just get really poleaxed. So between the hours of midnight and I think I sort of rolled back home at say 2 between 2 and 4, I think it was.
Mm.
And so blacked out. So there's 2 to 3 hours, 4 hours that have gone MIA.
Yeah.
The next day I woke up and, just that dreaded feeling when you wake up going, where am I? How did I get here? What day is it? And there's a child at my bed. Who are you? No. I was like, oh, and I thought, I've done it again. Happy 2016, I think it was.
Mm.
So then my friends filled in the details.
Oh. Sometimes I don't think we want to know. Do
And
we?
they did it in the most loving way possible, and we had a laugh at it. But inside, I was feeling really yucky about it. But they said I was dancing on the coffee table. So not my coffee table, their friend's house coffee table, dancing on the coffee table and getting any kind of ornament I could around the house and dancing with the ornament. So we're talking vases, we're talking photo frames, we're talking mirrors, anything I could grab my hands on. So how disrespectful is that though, mate? I'm just like, again, not doing that sober.
I know.
You have a giggle, but I think, imagine if I had to drop their expensive vase. Just little things like that.
Yeah. And it's so, I totally feel you because I've done similar things.
I can imagine you doing the same.
Yes. And why is it that we have to get elevated? We have to get on some sort of podium. We can't just dance on the floor. If there's a table or a chair or a coffee table or some sort of leverage, we have to get up on it. What is that?
I don't know. It's just like, everyone, look at me.
Just want to get high.
Yep, just want to get high. Yeah. So, that was and the next day was rubbish for the kids.
Yeah.
Like,
Happy
it was no
New Year.
good. Yeah, Happy New Year, kids. Look at your trash bag, mum. But anyway, they would remember. They would remember that anyway.
Yeah. Oh, thanks for sharing, mate. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
What do we say, Breeza?
It wouldn't have happened if we weren't hammered.
That's pretty good.
Things are changing in 2022.
Really stepped it up.
I've still got the giggles, Maso. What are we talking about today?
We're talking about holidaying sober.
What were you just singing before we went back on air?
Holiday. Madonna, bit of Madge.
I was thinking maybe we ask Eric. Eric, if you're listening, could you slide in holiday?
Celebrate. Make you feel all right.
I'm singing that song all morning, mate.
So will everyone else.
Yeah, knowing that we are going into a podcast talking about holiday. I'm like, holiday. So holidaying.
Holidaying. Have you ever holidayed sober?
Nope. Like not like like when I'm talking like I've done weekends away, but I have never done like more than 4 nights away.
Yeah, okay.
What about you?
I have actually. Listen to me show off.
Wow. Look at you, fancy pants. I was going to say park that for one moment because I want to step you through my normal routine of holidaying.
Okay. Yeah.
So you've touched on this on previous episodes, airport situation, you're hooking in. Doesn't matter what time.
No.
You're sniffing out a bar and you're hooking in.
Too right. Get it in there.
So, and this example I'll give you is when I went to Darwin, I don't know, a couple of years ago. So I caught the red eye, arrived at like midnight, saw my friend, caught up with my mate, Fifi, and we started drinking at midnight because we could.
Yep.
Started drinking at midnight. She's like, I've got beers, I've got bloody gin. She had a whole, plethora of drinks. So hooked in just because #holiday.
Yeah.
And then looking back as well, Maso, and I'm not sure if you're the same, but a lot of things were planned around drinking on that holiday, like on any holiday. It was all about drinking.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%.
And then you'd go like the first night you get there, you'd just be a write-off, would be massive because everyone's excited, especially when you're with friends. Yeah. So you're excited. So first night's huge. Last night you go bloody huge.
Extra. We're going large on the last night.
Supersize me. Give me all the fries, all the Coke, and you go huge.
Yeah. Massive.
You can relate?
Yeah, 100%. 100% every single time. My entire holidays are revolved around bars, drinking.
Yeah.
I'll tell you just another little quick shame story I'm going to slide in. We went to Iceland. There was like 8 of us, and I was a full enabler, and I actually really regret this now, but Iceland's amazing. We went to the Blue Lagoon. We went to the lights.
Oh, the Northern Lights.
Northern Lights. And it was freezing. It was so amazing. But then the next day, when we should have been going on a bit of an explore around Iceland, I bullied everyone to just having a pub crawl. They were all up for it, but what are we doing? Like sitting in pubs in Iceland. Like, but that's where I was at that stage.
Yeah.
You know,
which is not uncommon. Like I can so relate to that as well, Maso. But it's not until you look back and you're like, I was in this incredible country with like, sorry, I've got an itchy eye, I'm just itching away. Incredible country with like, you know, sights and sounds that you're not necessarily exposed to back at home. And you're sitting in a pub.
Yes. Could be a pub anywhere. It could be a pub in Barham. Like, it wouldn't matter. No offence, Barham. For those of you listening, Barham is just on the Murray River in Victoria, New South Wales.
Yeah. Well, I actually planned my whole honeymoon around spring break in Cancun. Like legit, mate. Legit.
Oh, wow.
We did spring break.
That's committed. You've really committed to the cause. You're dedicated.
Like, yeah, there was a lot of large evenings.
Went large. Talking about large.
Yes.
I need to wet me whistle.
I need to wet my whistle too. What are you drinking today?
Oh, the good folks at Altina. I'm having a little Lovey and rosé. Is that how I pronounce that correctly?
I say rosé as well, but I'm not sure if it's just rose. We'll ask Christina when we get her on.
Christina. It's a floral, dry, fresh. I'm going to pop that over some ice.
You pop that while I am hooking into and I got these last month, the new Etch sparkling range.
Oh my God. Can I tell you?
Yeah, go on.
Oh, my God. So I caught up with Andy. You gave me the tip off that Andy was at the market just up the road. It's actually in the same street as me, just in the farmers market. And Andy gave me a few to try. Oh, have you got the apple one there?
Yes, I had that. I had that when I got the delivery back in December. Off its tits.
Oh,
how good is it?
The smell. I need a whole box of it. I cannot.
Do you know what it reminds me of?
Tell me.
You know the toffee apple lollies?
Oh, yes.
But no sugar, not an ounce of sugar.
Amazing.
So I'm going to try the mountain pepper, berry and raspberry today. How's yours, mate? How's yours?
Stunning. I love these Altina. Thank you, Altina.
How good are they? Oh,
you can actually get both of these from Brunswick Aces.
Yes, you can.
And you can use our Dizzy code, which is
Flaunt 10. Don't know why I was singing. It's Flaunt 10, FLAUNT 10. 10%. Get around it.
And you can use it at the bar as well, yeah?
Yeah.
How good.
Get in there and have a alcohol-free cocktail. Here I go with mountain pepperberry and raspberry. I can already smell the raspberry.
Oh, the smell, that apple, the smell and the colour.
That's bloody spot on.
Well done. 3 cheers to Epps, 3 cheers to Altina. Loving you guys, sick. Well done.
Great Aussie brands.
Top drop.
And I was going to give you another example about booze. Don't you reckon, and I don't know how to say this, but don't you reckon alcohol can be used as a commodity? Yeah. So I think that's the right word for what I'm trying to explain.
Go ahead. I'm with you. I'm here for it.
An example I'll give is when travelling around Australia in 2009, got bogged really bad up at Cape York, and we were bogged like no one else was around. Anyway, some people came along, and it was about a 6-hour mission to get us unstuck. It was huge. Anyway, as a thank you, we gave them a ton of our beer. Like, here's some beers, boys. Here's some beers.
Love that.
Yeah. So it came in handy. But during that trip, our motto was, or it wasn't our motto, but we'd always say, as long as I got fuel and beer, we're fine.
Yeah.
Fuel and beer.
The priorities. It's oxygen and blood.
Yes. Because fuel, obviously, to drive, and beer was just to be social.
Yeah.
that was the thinking behind that. You got to have beer to be social.
Unreal.
And you know what? When you go to like caravan parks, you walk around with stubby in your hand, chatting to people.
Yes. Or when people drop into your campsite, you want a beer?
Yeah. But I
Yeah.
suppose you can still do that with alcohol-free beers.
Too right, you can.
Yeah. So tell us about your little experiences, Maso, on holiday without booze.
Yes. Well, the USA, I went with two of our girlfriends. Hi, Jen. Hi, Neats. That was amazing. We spent 3 weeks over there and, did that booze-free, and it was amazing. Unreal. Like, went to Vegas, booze-free.
Yeah.
Who knew?
Wow.
Yeah.
So were the other girls, like, were they drinking alcohol?
No, not really. They might have had a couple here and there, but not as much. So I think that goes back to what you'd spoken about. I'm the enabler.
Being the enabler.
If I'm drinking, everyone else is on board. They were happy to go without because I was.
So
maybe, I don't know. I've never actually had that conversation, but.
Yeah. Were you on your 12 months? Was that your 14
Yeah, that was my 14-month, during that 14-month period. Bali as well. Jen and I went to the Gilly Teas and, no problem, not an issue. I tell you, though, they love their mocktails over in Bali. They really love jazzing up a drink. Little tip, though, is don't forget, when you're getting ice or asking for ice in your drink, probably skip it because the ice is coming from the Bali water and I end up getting Bali. So if you want ice and you're freezing it in your little hotel room, just to take it out of the water bottles. That's my hot tip.
That's a good idea.
The other little hot tip that I've got is if you are staying in a hotel, get them to remove the minibar. You can do that.
Oh, I love that, mate.
Call forward and they can remove the minibar for you. Or, well, I used to get them to do it with chocolate. I'd like, can you please remove my minibar? Because for those of you who are new to the pod, I am a flight attendant. So I spent a lot of time in hotels and I used to love smashing the minibar. As soon as I'd walk in, I'd be like just straight into the dairy milk chocolate, and straight with the geese and Sauvignon Blanc straight down the neck. Like, loved it. And then I would spend the next day having to run around the supermarkets and bottle shops trying to replace it so it didn't cost a sweet fortune. But I loved it. So, get them to remove the minibar. Is a good little tip as well. It was no worries at that time because I had that focus of why I was remaining sober, what I wanted to do. Do you know what I mean?
So you're in the right mindset, would you say?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Wow. And
For
so,
sure.
like, I suppose what did you gain from it?
All the memories. I remember everything. I remember everything. I had more energy and drive and desire to explore. We weren't propping ourselves up in a bar and just missing out on every opportunity. We went, we got a helicopter to the Grand Canyon. Like, we just went adventuring and, hired bikes and rode over the Golden Gate Bridge. The same in New York as well. We caught up with Paddy and Hubble and Cub. Hi, guys. It was just incredible. Booze free. It just, you remember everything and you make the most of your time.
That's so good.
As well.
You've just brought up a memory of mine in Mexico. Chicken Itza. I think you've been there.
Chicken Itza.
Chicken
pizza.
Chicken pizza. The day I was there, I was that hungover. I was in a taxi all buckled up, just slouched over because I was so bent out of shape from the night before and didn't enjoy it. Don't think I even got out of the taxi. Went, yep, seen it, off we go. I was just rubbish.
Mate, I was exactly the same. I think we'd gone swimming with the turtles and I was so hungover. I was putrid. It was a battle. I think it must be what we do. We just get Chichen Itza just cops everyone. Dusty AF.
And it was so hot and sticky and filthy as well.
Totally agree. The other thing that happens, so Bali's getting lots of coverage today. Swim up bar, mojitos, potent. Like there's no responsible service of alcohol in Bali. It ends up in a massive blue with my friends and partner, and it was just putrid. And we watched actually these two families, boozing on all day. I think each partner has gone upstairs to look after the kids, and then those other partners are pashing on. Like there was this whole, yes, it was putrid. And we're just sitting going, and then we end up in a blue. So, yeah, just boozing and holidays is just no good.
And, yeah, like that whole adventure thing, you do miss a lot when you're just, perched up at a bar.
Too right. Yeah, what's the point? Like you're missing out on everything. You could be anywhere else, but no.
I had one of those trips to Thailand, and it was just there was 6 of us, all friends, and it was just revolved around booze.
Yeah,
there was no exploring temples. There was no rainforest treks. It was at a bar. Got to know the locals at the bar. Like it was get as rotten as you can, and then rinse and repeat the next day.
Yes, 100%. And this is what I've mentioned this before. Carly and I bought a van and we travelled around Europe for 3.5 months. What do I remember?
Yeah.
Just remember how legless old mate got. That's the pinpoints of what you remember is how paralytic each of us were. We don't remember. So I need to go back and do Europe again so I can really absorb 100%. the culture. But
how many times have you come back from a holiday and gone, I need a detox. Or my liver needs a break. Like how many times?
Totally. You need a holiday from your holiday because you're just so out of shape.
And that's not to mention, I know we're going to be talking about this topic next week, but any harm that you do to yourself when you're on holidays. This happened. Didn't happen to me. It happened to another girl that I was with. I shouldn't laugh. Actually, no. I will share a quick story that happened to me in Africa.
Oh,
in Africa.
Yeah.
So
was I meant to come on this trip?
I don't know.
I was going to talk about this early on from the UK. I was meant to tag along.
Maybe, yeah. So it was me and Nellie.
Yeah, Nellie.
And I'm going to just Google quickly the country because it wasn't South Africa. Oh, how do I find you? South Africa. Anyway, it was a country near South Africa, next door to South Africa.
Okay.
Help me out, Maso.
What have you got? Zanzibar?
Africa. No,
Tanzania?
Country. I just want to click on that. Here we go. It is. Namibia. Namibia. Yeah. So we
Namibia. To Namibia?
No, it's Namibia.
Okay.
Well, that's how I say it. Don't hold me to that. Maybe I'm wrong again. So we'd had a monster of a night, huge night, and I rolled into bed, I reckon it was like 3 a.m. and the next day at 5 a.m. we were getting up and going sandboarding in Swakopmund.
Oh.
Yeah. So
How fun.
Yeah, fun. Doesn't end well. So I'm just, running along on 2 hours sleep, probably still a bit pissy. And so we got to the top of the sand dune and, we did a few little runs down on the sandboards. And then our instructor's like, so who wants to do a jump? Like there's this like man-made jump on the dune. Breeze is like, yeah, I will. Who am I? So, yeah, off I go and just splat out.
Splatsy.
To it, splatsy, and really hurt my arm. And so I sort of got up. I'm like, I hurt my arm, and I'm like, I put on a brave face, Mrs. Tuffy, and I'm like, it'll be right. And then that afternoon, I'm like, it's looking a bit puffy. It's pretty sore. Can't touch it. I'm like, no, I'll ride it out for till the next day. Next day, I'm like, I think I need to go to a doctor. So missed a day in Africa. Went to the hospital, broken arm. Had to get it plastered. And so that rule. So there was still 2 weeks of the trip to go. I was in a plaster for the last 2 weeks of the trip. Yeah, it was a real Debbie Downer.
Oh,
and I look back at that and go, yeah, if I hadn't been drinking the night before, Probs wouldn't have done that.
Probs not. We would have had stuff together. Oh, booze. Just missed opportunities. Missed opportunities. So my little tips I'm going to throw at you about how to navigate alcohol-free is, the mini bars are a good one as well. But like you can look into, have you ever done a free walking tour around a place?
I've seen them, Maso, but I've never done one.
No, neither have I. I didn't even know they were a thing, obviously, because I was always just sitting around like a slob in a bar. But there's walking tours, bike tours, you know, depending on what sort of budget you're on, like you can really get amongst it.
Yeah.
And you know how you had those goals the other day about when you go to a corporate function?
Yeah.
Like you can actually have a little goal that you do throughout the day. So you could have learn something old, learn something new, and like get a new person. So maybe you've got to photograph something in particular, learn something old about the town, and give someone a compliment for the day. I don't know. Or you could do little challenges for yourself to just. And the other thing that you can do is, have you done any mindful like walking? Like when you're walking along, be really mindful. Remember how I had the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 method with the sensors? This is actually quite good too if you're feeling a bit wobbly. When you're walking along, take your ear pods out or your wires, however you're rocking your pods or cords, and just focus on the senses. So just use your eyes, and you'll be amazed at how much brighter and greener everything that you're looking at is. Okay, so block out the noise. Yeah, and then, you know, then you see the textures and then use your ears and just listen, you know, just listen. And the amount of, you know, birds and wind and all those sort of things, you can really get amongst it. So, so that's sort of being really mindful and in the moment when you're cruising along, and also smell. So just use those senses. So that's my little tip as well. If you are flying somewhere, you can use your little keep cup. Like take your fancy glass. Like you don't have to be missing out. You could have your little keep cup or some cool, you know how they have those keep cups that are full wines to keep things nice and
I've got one.
Cool. Yes, there you go. You can have those. And also, actually, Kia told us that on Qatar, Delta and Finnair, they actually offer non-alcoholic drinks. It's called a brand called So Jenny. How good's that?
I saw that comment. How good is that?
Yeah, amazing. So good.
So you can still feel like you're included by, you know, drinking a non-alcoholic drink.
Exactly.
Because that's another ritual, isn't it?
Yes.
I reckon, is that whole airport experience.
Yeah.
And then I have not ever flown international without drinking.
Oh. Totally.
It's your little treat, champagne, and it's like it is that whole ritual.
Yeah, well, you're legless before you get on the flight. Like you have a big farewell party the night before, then you roll up to the airport just wasted, more drinks. I don't even remember half the flight.
That happened to me when I was deported from England. I had basically they let me in the country. This was after coming back from the Middle East. Deported from England, had 3 days left in the country. So for those 3 days, I wasn't doing anything touristy. I was in the backyard getting absolutely hosed with my mates. I reckon you were there for one of the days, Maso.
No doubt. Was that at Dollars?
Yep.
Yeah.
So I just had friends that had actually come over from Bendigo. So they just come and I got deported. So I was like, hi bye. So we made the most.
Handed over the baton.
We made the most of those 3 days. Well, didn't really. We just drank.
There you go.
Yeah, went to the airport all just hating life, and I had to go and meet officials because I had to get my passport back. It was awful. It was not a nice way to depart a country I've been living in for a couple of years. Not good at all. Not
great. Talking about the airport, because we love this moment, and I'm going to battle it too the next time I go to an airport. I'm like, ooh, what am I going to do? Okay, so if alcohol is really triggered, you need to obviously avoid the bars. Duck into the little DH Smith. Is that what it's called? Or little shops?
Yeah, WH Smith, I think.
What did I say?
DH.
Anyway, get amongst the little knick-knack stores and buy yourself something nice. Try something new that you haven't tried before. You know, if you're normally a Coca-Cola girl, go and buy a deep drink mineral water or iced tea or a little treat. Make it really fun for yourself. Like, it doesn't have to be all doom and gloom.
Yeah, I would bury myself. Well, next time I go to the airport, I'll be burying myself in a book.
Yeah.
At the airport.
Yeah.
Instead of having a frothy or a glass of bubbles.
Yeah. But exactly. That's a really good point. The other thing, I don't know, we've spoke about this the other day. If you're not flying and you're driving, some of the servos have alcohol-free drinks.
I know.
Little shout out to a servo on the the Ring Road outside Geelong. They've got alcohol-free drinks in there.
How do you feel about that, Maso?
Good. I like it. You're not sure?
Yeah, no, I'm not sure. Just because the whole kid thing.
Thing.
Yeah, they still replicate alcohol.
Right. Yeah.
And, I think we've spoken about this before. When you buy alcohol-free drinks at the supermarket, it still beeps and you still have to show ID.
Yeah.
So I still feel I don't even let my kids have, if they want a sip of my drink, I let them have etch. I do let them have etch. But if it's anything I'm drinking that replicates alcohol, I still don't let them have it.
Yeah, good call. Good call.
So, I feel a bit like it's I don't know. I just feel a bit from a kid's perspective. Yeah. Because to them, they don't know it's not alcohol free. Sorry, they don't know. Yeah, it's not alcohol free drinks. They just see a bottle looks like beer, and they would link and sync that to a normal beer. Yeah,
true.
So whereas it's like the Monday Distillery, I think some of them are in the servos. They probably look more like a bubbly drink without looking like an alcoholic drink. Like a soft drink, I suppose you could say.
Yeah, I love how we've come at this from two different angles too. You've shone a light on something I haven't thought about, so that's good.
Yeah.
But, I'm a fan because you can nip through the servos if you're stopping along the way on your mission to get on your little holidays. You can have a bit of a poke around in the servo, and if there is those alcohol-free drinks, you can, grab a little bevy. Not all servos have them.
Yes. I think the other thing too is you can still, say if you're travelling, within Australia, ring ahead to the town you're going. Sorry, ring ahead.
I'm due for arrival. Bring out the ticker tape parade, the welcoming committee.
Roll out the red carpet, please, and get the mayor there. Find out. We've got the world at our fingertips on our smartphones. So sniff out local bottle shops and pubs. Yeah. And pick up if you don't want to take your own alcohol-free drinks. Ring ahead and see what they've got to offer if you are, drinking alcohol-free drinks.
Yeah, plan it out, make it fun for yourself. Exactly.
And just it means you don't get caught off guard. And especially because I really don't, if I have to drink mineral water, I will. But imagine I couldn't do a week just drinking mineral water. I need to mix it up.
Yes,
I need to feel like I'm having a, beer on a hot day when I'm holidaying.
Yes, exactly. Do you know what I was getting stuck into before because leading into the alcohol-free world, drinks, I was a bit nervous about it. I thought it would be a bit triggering. So I was actually giving just sparkling water and then topping it with Deep Spring or Schweppes orange mango sparkling. So it was like a little cocktail. It wasn't too sweet, but I was just smashing that back and it kept me really refreshed because I was drinking lots and lots of sparkling water. So you can you don't have to go all out and make these big fancy cocktails or mocktails, but you can do that if you don't want to, get into the AF drink world. That's a good option as well. What else have you got there, Breeza?
I had swapping boozy activities for other activities.
Yes.
And when you go on holidays, and I'm, a bit of an action adventurer chick like yourself, Maso. Love trying new things and, pushing the boundaries and experiencing new things. So so instead of, wasting the morning hungover, plan an activity that starts at 7 a.m.
Yes, love this.
And I actually do enjoy getting up early on holidays and making the most of your day. We all enjoy sleeping, but you're somewhere new. So get up and explore where you are. Try new things and experience new things. Instead of sitting around, like you said, sitting around the pub or a bar. And I think given that, I holiday with the kids quite a bit, either on weekends or they've been to.
What are they doing with your going on holiday by yourself?
No, a holiday with the kids.
Sorry. Cut that.
I holiday with the kids a bit. So, we've gone to Bali, Fiji together and they love doing activities. Obviously they're kids. So as an adult, I'm like, I want to join in with them. We spent the day we left Fiji, we had about 3 hours to spare. So we spent 3 hours just exploring the beach. And we actually met this little girl. I shouldn't say little girl. She was an 18-year-old girl, the most delightful little thing you've ever met. spoke very broken English, but we spent a good hour with her and she showed us how to use a machete to cut. She found like coconuts on the beach and she's showing us that. And we just had this little moment with this 18-year-old girl that she just sort of walked out from a little house/village.
Yeah.
And, it's because, kids are curious as well. So because I wasn't on that occasion, I wasn't hungover. So I spent that morning just exploring with the kids and having and really connecting.
Wholesome connections.
Yeah, which we bang on quite a bit, that wholesome connection.
I think you might see that in a little quote that I'll pop up on Instagram. Wholesome connections. It's true.
It's a massive vibe.
It is. It absolutely is.
So I think, holidays are not boring without alcohol.
Too right.
And you've experienced it. I mean, going to America, Maso, that's huge. And going to Bali sober, that's massive.
I went to Bali twice. So I went to America, went to Bali twice, went to a festival, all alcohol-free. It's achievable. It's good. And I think you've just got to keep reminding yourself why you're doing it, weigh it up, how you're going to feel the next day. Be proud. And you don't get the holiday blues. You spoke about that the first weekend you went away. You realise, normally you get home going, ugh, you're so depressed and then really struggle through the week, but you bounced up and about the next morning, didn't you? Was that Ngambie?
Yeah, it was one of the, I reckon it was Ngambie because I used to suffer from the holiday blues massively. And it would go on for I would say a good 4 days after you get back. And then you get back into your routine, you're like, So I'm wondering, if I've done a sober long stint on a holiday, if I come back, I reckon I'll come back energised.
Fresh, you totally will. You totally will. Because I used to get back from holidays and just get on it again. Yeah. Because I didn't want to deal with the blues. I'm just like.
And I've wasted so much time on holidays, being hung and then spending the day in bed watching a movie. Once again, you could do that anywhere in the world. You could do it at home. You could watch a movie at home. And you're sitting in this foreign country, this beautiful country with lots to explore, and you're in your hotel room or in your Airbnb munging out on bad food and watching a movie that you've probably seen before. Or in America, don't you reckon that their TV is just all American news?
Yeah.
So you get right into the American news.
That's so funny. I'm going to read you a little quote. It's from Drew Shapper. He's an Aussie drummer. It goes like this. Every really catastrophically bad decision I made started with one beer and it escalated from there.
Mic drop.
Bang.
That is a powerful statement, isn't it?
Isn't it? It's true. It's true.
Yeah, because one beer leads to 2 beers, leads to 3 beers, leads to 100, and then who knows where you end up after that.
Yeah, exactly right. It's it's a good news.
Where'd you come across that?
So I was listening to a podcast called Over the Influence.
Oh,
Yes, with Sharon Hartley and Freddie Bennett, and he was on there. I said he's an Aussie, but it's actually a cracking episode. It's episode number 7, European tours, changing routines and new AF opportunities. So, really interesting. Yeah, so Drew Shapper is a drummer from Pretty City.
Well, Drew has some very wise words, and I think he's done some inner searching.
And I think he's written a book as well, so look out for that. We'll get back to that. Yeah. So he's taking his experience with his addiction to drugs and alcohol and sharing it with the world. Yeah. We should get him on this pod.
We should. Let's hit him up.
Yeah. I'll be right across his band name by then.
So for those who haven't experienced a holiday without booze, we're going to say give it a go, aren't we?
Yeah, get out of here.
Sorry, mate. Shut down. If that is too big for you to digest, plan some alcohol-free days and don't do them when you're hungover. Actually, plan some alcohol-free days during the holiday and go nuts. Plan adventures, book tours, do whatever you have to do. To have a really fulfilling day. Yeah,
and mix it, when we talk about mix your drinks with, have a drink, have a non-alcoholic drink, have a drink, have a non-alcoholic drink, just to So you're not avoiding, so you can avoid that hangover a little bit more.
Yeah.
As well.
And still it does start a conversation. This happened to me when I was in Anglesey back in August last year, and I had taken some alcohol-free beers with me, and I'd met another family, and they were great people, and the kids were all playing together. And so then my daughter came. She's like, "Oh, Mum, you can go." Like the new friends we've made said, "Come down and have a drink with them." I'm like, "Okay, cool." So I said, "I'll be there in a minute." And then so I rolled down and had a drink with them. And as the day sort of progressed, they said, "Oh, what are you drinking?" Or they might have said, "And you're drinking alcohol-free beer." I'm like, "Yeah, how'd you know?" They're like, "Oh, your daughter told us. She came down and said, oh, Mum's going to bring an alcohol-free beer." But that then started a conversation.
Bless.
Yeah. So it started a conversation. They're like, "Oh, we didn't know they existed," and da-da-da. So it's sort of, educating people in a roundabout way just by, saying perhaps I'm having an alcohol-free day today, or I'm drinking alcohol-free beer today.
Exactly. We're educating people just a little bit more along the way. Actually, and last night, I'll tell you a super quick story. I have got my little side hustle, Claire's Dog Squad. I've got a new doggo coming on board, a little Hank, little Frenchie, and we had a little meet and greet. The parents come round and check out our pad and make sure it's all honky-dory and they're comfortable leaving Hank here. Anyway, I had all of these alcohol-free drinks out on the coffee table because Carly was here the week before, and I just had them all out. And they came in and they go, "Oh, what's all this?" I explained to them. Anyway, Hank's parent, Dad, is actually best mates with Non's general manager.
Bull.
Yeah. Anyway, so he was all up and about, and I said, "Do you want to try some?" So anyway, I ended up having this whole taste testing with the parents, and I'm letting them try everything. They're loving it sick. Anyway, when they left, they actually sent me a photo. They sent me a photo of a bottle of wine and a bottle of gin 00, and said that I'd inspired them to just mix it up. How funny.
So because you were pouring for the parents. I was itching to say that.
Yeah. Isn't that cool?
How good is that, mate?
Yeah, because they would never have thought about that, and now they would never have tried the gin. And so it was so cool.
Just
super cool.
Sparks that little curiosity in people, doesn't it?
Yeah, 100%. So, that was super, super good. But anyway, Rish from Non, we'd love to have you on.
Yeah, their drinks are amazing.
Yeah.
So holidays in 2022 are going to be looking a lot different for both of us, aren't they, mate? So I'm excited.
I'm excited too. Get out of your comfort zone. Try something new. Try something new.
And face the world fresh every day.
Fresh,
baby.
Fresh.
Takes regret, you can't forget. Cellular memory deficit. Takes regret.
Okie dokie. So this week's text request comes from a friend, actually, a male friend. And so I'll let me just set the scene first. I don't think you know this guy. I'm not going to name names. Anyway, so he has his new partner, right, shares the same name with his ex-mother-in-law.
Oh, no.
Okay. So let me gather my thoughts. Okay, so he was out and about. So his partner's kind of newish too, by the way. So he was out and about in Melbourne with his best mate, and he took a selfie with his best mate, sent it to he thought was his partner, but the text went to his ex-mother-in-law. And he said, he sent the photo and said, "This is my best mate. Kiss, 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 kiss." and then the ex-mother-in-law wrote back saying, "Who's your friend?" Question mark. And then he was still oblivious. Thinking he was talking to his new partner. So he wrote back, "One of my best mates. I can't wait for you to meet him one day. He lives down in Melbourne." So the mother-in-law, and let me just also add that his best mate was in his wedding. So the ex-mother-in-law knows this mate already. So then she wrote back, "Oh, wow." Then the penny dropped for my mate, and he's like, "Oh, God, I've texted my ex-mother-in-law." obviously, I don't know what time of the night this was, but he was out in Melbourne, had a skinful. So he's decided to roll with it. I quite like his strategy. So he's written, oh, actually, you met him at our wedding. He was one of the groomsmen. So then she wrote back, did we have dinner together at the French restaurant next to McDonald's? Question mark. And my friend wrote back, nah, not that I recall. He thinks he's met you a few times. We are reuniting, giving lockdowns have eased. And then she wrote back going, have a great night. Thankfully, I will say that he does get along with his ex-mother-in-law, and but he's in his drunken haze, he's sent really cool selfie of him, his best mate, to his ex-mother-in-law.
She was a good sport though.
She was a good sport, and I know her, and she's actually a beautiful lady. So
that's so good.
I just loved how he rolled with it. When he was telling me on the phone, I was like, "Oh, mate, that's really bad." But he's like, "Well, no, I just decided to roll with it, and I saved it." I'm like, yes, you did.
Caught it.
You did. So then I'm like, oh, we could use that for a text regret. So
that's so good. Oh, thank you for sharing. That's great.
Both good sports.
It's time for the recommendation of the week.
I'm recommending Click and Collect.
Yes.
I've only just got onto Click and Collect. It is a game changer. I'm talking about Click and Collect or delivery from your supermarket. Now, there's two things with this. This is a good way to avoid bottle shops too.
Yes.
So if you're like, oh, my normal routine is to whiz through the supermarket and then go through BWS or whatever, your Liquorland, whatever, this is a good way to just avoid that. So you can hop on get your little app. I'm a Woolworths girl.
Same.
Oh, yeah, good. I'm spewing though. My supermarket doesn't do direct to boot. No.
That's a game changer as well, mate.
I'm almost tempted to go drive 5Ks further.
Start petitioning. Petitioning for it. Get real noisy in your local hood.
It's a bit of a nuisance, but it has been an absolute bloody game changer. So hands up in the air if you do Click and Collect or get delivery. If you don't, get amongst it. It's really saves time, and I hate going to the supermarket. Some people really love it.
Yeah, I'm a hater.
Yeah, not into
Massive
it.
hater. That's good advice though, mate, given that, the whole avoid the bottle shop thing.
Yeah.
Because they're right next to each other.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Well, there's been a turn of events because I'm going to recommend a product.
Whoa! Look out! Can I just quickly say, one of our gorgeous listeners actually sent us the other day, oh, you girls are going to send me broke. She's been buying all the products that we've been recommending. Oh, thank you, darling.
Oh, bless.
Yes.
Well, I am going to keep this one generic,
okay,
because I don't have the product with me at the moment. And I've been doing this for I reckon a couple of years now.
Ooh.
Is I put sunscreen on every single day. And I've got onto a really good one. It's actually made in Geelong, and I can't think of the bloody name of it. So it's a local, so small business, which I always love supporting small business, and. So I whack me moisturiser on and then put sunscreen on, and it actually works as a really good primer. And when I bought it from the shop, they're like, oh, it's a really good primer as well. I'm like, sure. But it actually is. It's a great primer. And so, I'm like a stickler at it.
Yes.
Every day, slap it on. Don't know if it's too late now, given I'm in my 40s, but hey, makes me feel good about it. I'm actually going to buy some a new bottle today.
Oh, there you go. Well, it's lucky we had a bit of a product recommendation swap, because I was actually going to recommend some sunscreen today.
Oh, were you?
Yes. How funny.
Bit of slap action.
Yeah, slap. It was Leah. Hi, Leah.
Oh, yes, Leah.
She's been gorgeous. So, we're sending her broke. Also, welcome. Thank you to #SoberKiwis, who have jumped on board us, and they've welcomed us into their private group. So hi there to our friends and bros and cousins over the ditch. So thanks for welcoming us from Christchurch.
Kia ora.
Yeah.
Kia ora. Yeah. And there was something else I was going to say then. Don't forget to use the hashtag BID, BIDD, because I didn't drink. That's the whole, I'm loving that hashtag BID.
Yes, absolutely. Get amongst it. Love, love, love.
Get amongst it. Thank you everyone for listening. What are we talking about next week, Maso?
We're talking about near misses and injuries.
Yeah, I've got a long list, mate. Long list. I better start jotting them all down because they pop into my head. I'm like, I better remember that one, but I'm going to write them all down.
Yes, and please send us in your text regrets or your shame stories. Yeah. We love to read them out. We'll read them out anonymously. We love everyone getting involved. Thanks for jumping on Insta as well, at Booze Free Bants. And thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.
Happy 22.
Yes, happy 22. See you, Maso.
Bye, Breeza.
This podcast is proudly produced by our audio engineer, music extraordinaire, Eric Ladd.
We love you, Eric.